Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a concept that literally blew my mind when I first read it. I mean, it honestly has the power to fundamentally transform the way we navigate our relationships, our daily stress, and our overall mental well-being. We're digging into the brilliant insights from Mel Robbins' The Let Them theory. Listen, if you've ever felt totally emotionally burnt out from trying to manage everything and everyone around you, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to explore this together today, and we're taking a shared journey from the sheer exhaustion of emotional burnout all the way to discovering a sustainable, unshakable inner peace. So, do you stretch yourself out trying to plan every single detail so absolutely nothing goes wrong? Think about the chaos of that headspace for a second. You're micromanaging the daily schedule, you're double-checking the dinner reservations, you're anticipating every possible disaster before it even has a chance to happen, and you're running yourself absolutely ragged in the process. It's exhausting, right? You're basically operating at a million miles an hour, trying to hold the entire universe together with nothing but sheer willpower. Or, maybe your anxiety looks a little more like this. You send a text, and then you just stare at the screen. You're overanalyzing their punctuation, wondering why they used a period instead of an exclamation mark, and you're worrying frantically about why they didn't reply right away. And hey, wanting approval, wanting love, and wanting respect from the people in our lives, that is a completely normal human desire. We all want that. But obsessing over controlling these situations, trying to force a specific outcome, as the source material points out, that kind of hypervigilance only leads to deep, draining stress and overwhelming disappointment. Okay, let's dive into this because this right here is the ultimate antidote, the let them theory. It's the practice of deliberately letting go of the need to control other people's actions and instead trusting in yourself and others to reclaim your peace. Let me tell you, this is an absolute game changer for the perfectionists out there and really for anyone battling trust issues. It sounds so simple, but it's actually a profound internal shift. Instead of white-knuckling the steering wheel of someone else's life, you just let them. Section 1. The illusion of control, or the external trap. Whether you're trying to influence a partner's personal decisions or losing sleep worrying about what a friend thinks of you, you are caught in an external trap. Why? Because the control you think you're fighting for doesn't actually exist. We fundamentally cannot control anyone else's thoughts, feelings, or actions. Actually, scratch that. We can try to control them, but trying to micromanage everyone around you is a totally draining, unwinnable battle. You might think you can manipulate or change people to fit your perfect narrative, but ultimately they are in control of their own lives. However, when you focus your energy on your own thoughts and behaviors, that's where the magic happens. When you reserve your energy for the things actually within your control, which, newsflash, is just you, life stops feeling like a constant battle and transforms into this amazing adventure of authentic connection. You give others the ultimate freedom to be exactly who they are, and you totally free yourself in the process. Section 2. Escaping the expectation trap. Let's intentionally slow down for a second here. Seriously, take a deep exhale with me. Because to truly grasp the let them theory, we have to look inward. Relationship burnout usually doesn't come from the outside world. It originates right from within us, right in that gap between what we expect and what actually happens. And this brilliantly illustrates that idea. Disappointment is not the fault of others, but a reflection of your own misplaced expectations. Think about it. How many times have you felt crushed because someone didn't act exactly the way you hoped they would? We get upset, we blame them, but is it really their fault? More often than not, they're just being exactly who they are, and we're the ones who handed them an invisible script that they never even agreed to read. So, how do we fix this? We fix it by reframing our instincts. We've got to stop projecting shoulds onto people. Statements like, well, they should have called me back, or they should know how much this means to me. That puts a massive, totally unfair burden on others. Instead, the theory points us toward addressing our own insecurities by asking a simple question. Why do I expect this from them in the first place? It's about making a quiet internal shift. We start looking inward at our own unmet needs instead of constantly expecting the world to contort itself just to make us feel secure. Now, what's really interesting about this process is how we use what we can call the introspection mirror. When you finally stop worrying about fixing everyone else, you suddenly have the time and the energy to ask yourself these vital questions. 1. Why do certain behaviors trigger me? 2. What insecurities or fears are driving my need for control? And 3. Am I projecting my own unresolved issues onto them? Stopping the urge to manage other people creates the exact space you need to actually heal yourself. Honestly, self-awareness becomes your absolutely most valuable tool in this whole process. Section 3. The power of acceptance. So, we've talked about what goes wrong, but what does it actually look like in real, everyday practice to just let them? Well, it looks like this mindset. I see what you're doing, and I won't let it disturb my peace. Now, some people mistakenly think acceptance is passive or even cowardly, like you're just a doormat letting people walk all over you. But the reality is the exact opposite. Acceptance is deeply empowering. It means you are acknowledging their behavior without feeling the obsessive, burning need to intervene and fix it. You are taking back your power by choosing to respond consciously rather than just reacting emotionally. Let's move to and see how this builds in a real-world scenario straight from the source material. Imagine your partner wants to make a bold career switch, something you personally wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because it just feels way too risky. So how do we apply let them here? Step 1, suppress the urge to convince them to stay in their safe, current job. Just bite your tongue. Step 2, listen to their plans with a truly open mind. Step 3, acknowledge their courage to take such a bold step. And step 4, express confidence in their ability to handle whatever comes next. By giving them the space to grow, you completely free yourself from all that stress. And ironically, you actually build a much stronger, more deeply connected relationship based on real trust. Section 4, building better boundaries. Practicing the let them theory actually helps you reclaim your personal boundaries and build a really healthy sense of self. Think about the difference between walls and bridges. So often, our urge to control comes from a deep fear of upsetting others, so we end up building these defensive walls. We bend over backward out of guilt and obligation to meet their needs, and then we feel incredibly frustrated and drained when that same care isn't returned. That is a toxic cycle rooted entirely in self-sacrifice. But a bridge? A bridge is the freedom to say no, without the guilt or the overthinking. Your peace and your priorities matter. True connection is built entirely on mutual respect, and honoring your boundaries creates the space for a life that actually serves you. Okay, so how do we maintain this? How do we keep these boundaries strong and sustain this awesome newfound inner peace? You shift to gratitude. Seriously, gratitude is the secret superpower that holds this entire psychological framework together. Here is how you use that superpower to literally rewire your brain. When someone isn't behaving the way you want them to, instead of intervening, you just pause. You force yourself to focus on what you actually appreciate about them. Maybe it's their kindness or their crazy unique sense of humor. You deliberately shift your focus from what you feel is missing in that moment to what is already abundant. This practice yanks you right out of that frustrating loop of blame and steps you far, far away from toxic cycles of anger and resentment. It helps you finally embrace people for exactly who they are, flaws and all. Section 5, reclaiming your happiness. And this brings us to the ultimate payoff of this entire journey. Happiness is an inside job. So the crucial point is, true joy does not rely on external factors. It is entirely your responsibility. We have to completely shatter the illusion of saying, oh, I'll be happy if they just change. No. When you learn to just let them, your happiness becomes entirely within your own control again. You take full ownership of your own joy, and when you do that, your life completely transforms. You become much less reactive, deeply intentional, and infinitely more at peace. When summarizing Mel Robbins' work, it really all comes down to this one profound realization. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about stepping into freedom. In a world full of societal pressures, endless digital distractions, and turbulent relationships, these principles act as a compass. They guide us away from all the noise and right back to what truly matters: our own growth, our own emotional health, and our own unshakable peace. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to take with you today. What is one area of your life where you need to let them right now? Is it a partner's career choice, a friend's completely unasked for opinion, or maybe a family situation you are desperately trying to micromanage? Identify it, take a deep breath, and step into your freedom. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and I highly encourage you to try putting this into practice immediately. Go find your peace,